Hello YouTube and fellow Star Wars collectors! On this episode of Toys Are the Way, we'll be taking a look at the latest addition to the Vintage Collection vehicle lineup, the Haslab Ghost from Star Wars The Ahsoka series, featuring the Spectre crew from the animated series Star Wars Rebels. If you're new to the channel or a fan of Star Wars collecting, be sure to smash a like on this video, remember to subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, or even become a channel member. Welcome back, gang. So today I have a bit of a holiday miracle. One out of the three of my ghosts has actually arrived, and I cannot be more ecstatic to finally add this vehicle to my collection along with the Rebels crew. I was somebody who personally wanted to see this dream come true item make its way into my collection for quite some time, and you know, I'm happy that the Ahsoka series allowed us to get this ship along with the Rebels crew and just all the noise that was made in the community for this giant gap in our collection. And I've got to say that this is definitely a great feeling to have a complete crew and vehicle that we can world build around being added to our collection in one swoop. Now, the animated series Star Wars Rebels has some of my favorite stories and characters, so I'm really looking forward to setting this thing up in some action figure photography. But I will say that the whole FedEx shipping thing has definitely been a little bit of a stressful situation. I know many people are traveling for the holiday and would like to see this thing added to their collection and actually be able to sign for it. So it's definitely been a little chaotic, to say the least. Also, only one of my ghosts has actually shown up. Those other two that I backed on literally the first couple seconds are still on their way. They're not going to show up until after Christmas, and yeah, I just don't think there's any rhyme or reason to the way they ship these out. But with all that said and done, let's take a closer look at the packaging, vehicle, figures, and set this beautiful item up in a diorama. Taking a look at our vintage style packaging, we have the Star Wars and Ahsoka logo boldly displayed up top, followed by the name of the vehicle, The Ghost. We have a fantastic toy photography image of the vehicle set up in a hangar bay, looking absolutely majestic in my opinion. And then we have the Kenner logo in the bottom right corner, which just ties in all that nostalgia that vintage collection fans are absolutely here for. On the bottom left corner, we have an image of the Phantom 2, the small shuttle that's included with this set, which you can actually see docked with the Ghost towards the back of the ship. And lastly, we have the Haslab logo in the top right corner, followed by a call out letting you know there are exclusive figures included with this set. You are getting Ezra, Hera, Kanan, and Zeb, all sporting their Season 3 and 4 looks. Now, this is going to make an exceptional addition to my vehicle boxed collection, but part of me kind of wishes that it would have been a Star Wars Rebels packaging. It's nice that we have Ahsoka and Hera displayed down below, and when I think about it, I believe this is supposed to be the Ghost docked inside of Home 1. But this would have been a fantastic opportunity to have all of those exclusive figures displayed nicely down below and just really celebrate getting the Rebels into the vintage collection. On the back of the box, we have the same graphic layout from the front, except this time done in a simplified illustration of the vehicle, which is classic, nostalgic, and reminiscent of the Kenner packaging that many cherish in their collections. Additionally, we have the Vintage Collection logo down below and the Hasbro one in the bottom right corner. And I must admit that this is one of my favorite parts of the packaging. I like seeing these simplified illustrations and just seeing all the different line work and gradients and just different dots all around this packaging. I think it looks absolutely stunning, and I know many fans are a big fan of this as well. Taking a look at the top of the box, we have the Star Wars and Ahsoka logo paired with the Ghost and Kenner logo, followed by a series of thumbnails showing all the different interactive possibilities and world-building potential that this Haslab vehicle offers to our collections. Taking a look at the bottom of the box, we have the logos repeated once again and followed by all the small print that's needed for packaging and retail. But more importantly, we have a series of more thumbnails here that are showing off all the different details of this vehicle and environment. But lastly, the very nice image here showing all the different Rebels characters that are included with this set and displayed in front of this magnificent vehicle. And lastly, on the sides of the box, we have the Star Wars and Ahsoka logo once again, followed by the Ghost and the simplified illustration of the vehicle and Kenner logo down below. So all in all, the Star Wars Vintage Collection Haslab Ghost is a phenomenal box, and I am really looking forward to adding this one to my collection. But as I mentioned before, a part of me kind of wishes that it would have been Star Wars Rebels instead. And as nice as this packaging is, I think it's time to open up the Ghost and let it cruise the galaxy. Here we have the Ghost out of the packaging, fully assembled and displayed with the Rebels crew. We have the 4 exclusive figures that come with this Haslab vehicle, as well as Chopper and Sabine, who were later part of an exclusive 2-pack once this vehicle fully funded. Now, yes, I did open up these exclusive figures, but as I mentioned before, I do have 2 more of these coming, so I will have, carded samples for my collection. I will also be reviewing each one of these exclusive figures in the coming days, but I wanted to get them out of the packaging, of course, and yeah, I do want to review them because there's some differences when it comes to, the Season 1 Kanan and Zeb that we actually got earlier on this year. I do have reviews and posing videos of those 2 characters, as well as Sabine and Chopper, so if you're a Rebels fan or new to the vintage collection, be sure to check out those videos as well. And taking a closer look at these figures, they are just absolutely spectacular, and it feels great to get the entire Rebels crew in their Season 3 and 4 outfits in one go along with their ship. I am very happy to add this to the collection. Hera looks fantastic. She's got her Kalikori there. She also comes with this Meilu run, which Zeb is holding. He's got that really funny expression, and for the most part, he is very similar to the one we got earlier this year. But yeah, he's got some different paint applications and stuff that I'll note later. Sabine is a fantastic figure as well. If you don't have that one in your collection, hopefully, maybe there will be a chance to, get that one down the line. But yeah, she's a really, really great figure. I really like the Loth Cat, of course, that comes specifically with this Ezra. And then this Kanan is just absolutely perfect. Look at that figure. Man, that is definitely one of the best figures I think I've ever gotten in my collection. They have really nailed his likeness from Season 3 and 4, and yeah, I can't be more happy with this bunch of figures. So really cool stuff, and very, very excited to have the Rebels crew finally in my collection. Taking a look at the Ghost in all of its glory, it is quite a sizable vehicle and a large addition to my collection. Just take a look at it compared to the AT-AT in the back, which is one of the largest vehicles in the vintage collection. It's 2 feet tall and quite sizable, and the Ghost just absolutely knocks it out of the park. You even have the big Millennium Falcon back there, and the Ghost is still bigger than it. So yeah, this is a huge addition to anyone's collection. But taking a closer look at it, we have some pretty good paint applications and stuff. Now, I know some people think probably this could be a little bit dirtier, maybe weathered up a bit more, kind of like the Millennium Falcon, but for the most part, I think they've done a great job. Just take a look at some of this blaster fire here. I think that looks really good, like the ship has been in quite a few battles. And then we have this runoff here, which I think actually looks really, really nice. That's a nice paint application. You got some similar stuff going on here. And then I really like the silver paint that they used on this piping. That just looks phenomenal. You got some nice scuff marks here, just like paint starting to chip away on this yellow stripe. Same thing with this red over here. And yeah, I think that looks really, really good. Like, take a look at some of the small detail they even have on this ship, like tiny greeblies here and there, and just a lot of sculpting and detail that went into this miraculous vehicle. And then here we have a little bit more of that gunk that we like to see in the Star Wars universe. I think that looks really nice on this front part of the ship. And then we have these greeblies right here, which just look absolutely phenomenal. Take a look at all that attention to detail and stuff. That is really, really good stuff right there. And the Ghost is, from concept drawings that were done for the Millennium Falcon originally, so it's going to have some very similar things going on. Taking a look over here, we have some more paint applications, a series of dark and light grays that should really add to the ship, and some more of that yellow and red striping back here. A lot of those chip paint marks going on, and then taking a look at the docking bay, we've got some nice weathering here as well, more greeblies and stuff. This does not open or anything like the big Millennium Falcon, but it's still sculpted very nicely in my opinion. Now, taking a look at the back of the ship, we have some really nice sculpting and detail going on. So let's take a look at those thrusters, and those are just absolutely phenomenal. I really like this green, like metallic color that they used here. It really brings this thing to life. And then when you take a look at the back, we've got some translucent yellow plastic in there. So I think if you put some lights in there, that might really help bring this to life. But yeah, a lot of sculpting and detail back here on the engines. Just take a look at that. I think that just looks absolutely phenomenal. You even have some like small greeblies in the back of the ship here that are different than other parts of the ship, and yeah, that looks really good. Same thing with this other side profile. It's different than the front. It's got a nice wash just like that front area, which just helps bring all of this like detail to life. So Really nice stuff there. Just like take a look at all that geometry and just like piping and stuff. Looks really good. Now, I will say the one thing is that there is no weathering on the bottom of the ship, which is a bit of a shame. There's a couple paint applications like you can see there. And even the landing gear could, maybe use a metallic color. I don't know how I feel about just being black plastic, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it's not a deal breaker, but I think a little bit more care for a Haslab item would have been nice to see. Here you have the Phantom 2. It is docked on the back, which is pretty cool that it's able to, actually function and stuff. So you can just lift it off like so, clips in with those two pegs, and that's just great to see. We'll take a closer look at this vehicle later on, but here you can see it's got a chopper added to it, which is, pretty cool. It's got some nice metallics on it as well. Speaking of metallics, we got the engine going from that nice green to like a silver metallic, and then that just kind of burns onto the ship. We got some more different metallics going on. So we got like a dark gunmetal to a light silver, which is just nice to see a variation of stuff going on. Same thing here. Yeah, so lots of great paint applications in my opinion. When you take a step back from it, yeah, it's kind of like bright white still, but for the most part, all this different yellow, red, grays, and like scuff marks and stuff help bring it to life. Taking a look at Zeb in the cockpit, you're able to take this off. Makes it easier to put them in there and stuff, and then it just simply goes on. It does rotate 360 degrees, which is absolutely great, and the turret goes up and down. Not really any paint or weathering on it, which is, a little bit of a shame. Maybe a black dot to make it actually look like a barrel would be cool, but when it comes to detail, I do think that it's pretty cool that they actually put the ladder in there. So that's really neat. If you wanted to take a shot from down below up into this turret, you'll actually have, the ladder there. So pretty neat. Now, this vehicle doesn't have any type of electronics or anything. I just put like a light puck in there just to help you see and like, I don't know, add a little bit of ambiance, if you will. So put that back in there and then take a look at the front of the ship. More of that like weathering and just like runoff and stuff going as this thing zooms through hyperspace and just like avoids Imperials. Now, taking a look at the front, we got some great stuff going on here. We've got that turret, which you saw me put on earlier. It does rotate side to side, and the barrels actually go up and down, which is nice. And then I have a couple more lights in here just to help light it up, but you can see I've got some of the figures in there sitting in their cockpit, and yeah, we'll take a look at the interior much more closely, but I just wanted to show off the ship itself. But yeah, this is going to make a wonderful addition to my vehicle collection. I am very happy to have this one, and it is just a monster of a vehicle. But definitely feel free to let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about the Ghost and the paint applications? So here we have the Ghost opened up, and in order to do so, you need to get all these three panels off. They're definitely on there, very secure, but I'd rather them be nice and tight versus, flopping all over the place. So you pretty much have to open up the cockpit, and then that middle area that's over here, and then the last one that's like towards the back engine. But taking a closer look at the interior, you can see some wonderful sculpting and paint applications being done here. I am really happy with everything they did in here. Typically some of our mainline vehicles aren't seeing this level of attention to detail, and they have done a remarkable job here. Just look at the colors that they used on the buttons. They painted this control panel to have actual stuff on it, and yeah, I think that looks really, really nice. Got a lot of different things going on here that just look remarkable. Here we have the chairs, which rotate 360 degrees. This one is specifically Sabine's. I always liked the checker marks and stuff on it. And then this one here is Ezra's. Got a little damage on it. So yeah, looks pretty good. If you look down into this area, you can go down into that loading ramp and cargo bay, which is pretty cool. This ladder looks great. There's some more attention to detail there with lots of different painting applications. Let's just rotate this. You can see some like hoses and stuff that have been sculpted on here, more buttons, and then going towards the front of the ship, we have Kanan and Hera sitting in their seat very, very easily. So that is great that you're able to get these figures in here with ease. It's got some great silver paint applications on their handles of the ship. And yeah, moving down to the gunner mount, got some great stuff going on here too. This goes side to side. This actually rotates 360 degrees. Something else I wanted to point out about this is, let's see if I can get that angle. They actually painted that tiny little screen. So that's really impressive, when it comes to just the level of detail and like paint that they added in the interior. So I will give them credit for that. Got some other buttons here, and even that monitor right there. Like, that's really awesome that they actually painted that just to give it a lot more life. And let's rotate it real quick again. And we have some similar stuff going on with Hera's console and just like the front of the ship. So lots of great detail in there. Really like everything that's happening with that area. Then we go to the crew quarters, which, looks pretty good. We've got Hera's here, which got these little like soft plastic curtains. They're not super soft, but they're also a little bit translucent. So that's actually cool. So they're like sheer, if you will. Now this just like comes off like so. It's a little bit tight, and then you're able to put a figure in there with a little bit more ease, and then put this right back on like so. There you go. So we have Chopper hanging out. He accidentally fell down. Sorry about that, buddy. And then if we rotate it over here, I'll demonstrate one of those figures in their crew quarters. So we have Ezra just kind of talking to Chopper. And then again, we have some more paint applications here on the wall, just like decorations and like floor panels and all sorts of paint apps that have been added to this ship. So I think that's really cool. They did a great job on the interior. It's really selling me on that Rebels vibe. And then back here is the main area that we see inside the ship where the crew hangs out. Love this little Dejeric chessboard. You can take it off, put it back on, stays nice and snug. Got some good stuff going on there with the paint apps as well. These kind of just like move around, which is cool. Got Hera's chair here in the corner. All this stuff is not like secured down, so if you do like fly this and happen to do a 360 or a barrel roll, this stuff will probably fly around. Same thing with this picnic table, so just keep that in mind. Taking a look at the floor, great paint apps there. Love all that dirty scuffing and that like security, like caution tape area. Looks really, really good. And then we have this little area here, which is like another computer. Got this chair, rotates 360 degrees. It's like some silver paint on it or sculpted in that color. Got some more detail here as well. And then, yeah, I think overall, the interior of this ship is really impressive. But the only thing that I'm a little disappointed about is this locker right here, because it does not open. And I would have loved to recreate that scene from season 1, episode 1, where Ezra is like going through the ducts and he sneaks over here to like spy on the team because he's not really part of their team yet, and they kind of hear him in there and open the door and he falls out. So that's something I would have liked to see Hasbro, but I guess it's not a deal breaker. I also love this teal color that they use for the trim. Big fan of that kind of color scheme. And yeah, then you have this little area here. Got a lot of sculpting here. None of this stuff really opens. But yeah, it just really makes you feel like you're living in this Rebels world of their ship and just like their home. So I think there's some really nice stuff going on here. And then let's see if we can get an angle where we can see through the ship right there. And you can kind of see through all the way to the front of the ship. So I think that's actually really cool, and I can't wait to get in here and take some shots of this ship and just like the crew in this environment. So really cool stuff with the interior. And lastly, we have to take a look at the Phantom 2, which, as you can see, is slightly underscaled. But personally, I think this would have been way too big if they actually made this ship to scale and then had the Ghost be larger. It was already a bit of a challenge to get that box up the stairs, and I don't think any of us would have had room in our collection or the strength to get up a proper size like Ghost and Phantom 2. Moving on, let's talk about the paint applications on this thing. So this is originally a separatist ship. There's an episode of Rebels where they go and there's droids who are not shut down yet, so they have to do one last Clone Wars battle. And then they need a replacement Phantom because the other one got destroyed, and they get this ship. So as you can see, Sabine hit it up with some paint and made it specific to their crew. And yeah, got some good paint applications there, some nice oranges, reds, some chip marks as well, and the yellow here. And yeah, for the most part, it's a pretty simple paint scheme, and there's not much like dirt or grime on this thing, but I think it looks pretty good. You do have a little bit of weathering here and there, which looks okay. And then this gunmetal color is very nice, very metallic, very shiny. Lots of different like sculpting detail on there. The guns are also that same color. The tips are a soft plastic, so you don't have to worry about these breaking or anything. It doesn't look like they come off, and I don't really want to mess with it. The landing gear is pretty simple. Folds in and out, so you can just land this like a proper ship. The bottom side has absolutely no weathering. It is just a sculpted, molded gray plastic, but it's got some nice detail to it, so looks pretty good. And then let's talk about Chopper. So he is included, but he is a smaller version of the one we have. And he does have arms, but they are just like soft plastic, and they're kind of just there, which is a little bit of a bummer. And then to get him out, you gotta pry him out a little bit. And then you can have the Phantom without Chopper in it, and it looks a little bit more normal. But yeah, he's really small compared to the other one. Not like drastic, but he's definitely small. Got some nice detail on him. He doesn't have those blue lenses like this other version has. And then yeah, a little bit of a bummer, you can't take these arms out. Maybe I want to display it without Chopper's arms. He does put those away sometime. So yeah, it could be better, but I'm not too upset about it. And then the cockpit does open like so. And then you got some nice detail in there. No real paint work, but let's see if Kanan fits in there. So looks like you kind of gotta get his legs in there. I don't know. He might not fit. Give me a second and let's see if he can fit. Okay, took a little bit of effort, but we were able to get him in there. So unfortunately, you're not going to get somebody like Zeb in here because this thing is underscaled, and even, Kanan was a bit of a challenge. But it's nice that, not only Hera or like Sabine, those smaller figures, can fit in here. So that's great. But yeah, it would have been nice if, you could fit a couple figures in there. But put Chopper back in, and then, yeah, there's the Phantom. All ready to go off on an adventure while the Ghost hangs out in a different part of the galaxy. But like I said, it's definitely a little underscaled. Just look at it next to this proper sized Chopper. But it is a nice addition, and it wouldn't be the Ghost without the Phantom too. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And now I think it's time to get the Ghost and the crew and set them up in a diorama. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at this latest addition to our vintage collection shelf displays, the Haslab Ghost from the Ahsoka series and the Rebels crew. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.